Hi there and welcome to my channel. I'm Jennifer. This is A Country Life and this video is going to be a weekend of food. It is Saturday. It's before lunch, 11 o'clock here, and I brought in 3 pounds of ground venison because I just wanted to have some barbecue. A lot of you call it Sloppy Joe's. Here in our neck of the woods, it's called barbecue. I don't really know what exactly this video is going to bring. I have ideas of of a few things I'd like to make. So just come along and see what ends up being made. It'll be a whole weekend of just kind of the food that I make and the food we eat and all of that. So this is the Pioneer Woman recipe for Sloppy Joe's. I think I pretty much do just how she has it written here. Her recipe does call for 2.5 pounds of ground beef. I'm using 3 pounds of ground venison. I also don't use quite the full amount of packed brown sugar. I guess I would do, usually I do like 2 loose packed or maybe 1 packed tablespoon because I just don't like it quite as sweet. I also do not put in the Tabasco sauce, but other than that, I make it just like this and it is always very well received. I have to look to see if I have any hamburger buns. Otherwise, I'm going to have to get some bread, get some ingredients in my bread machine to start making some buns. Whoa, there must be a hole in there. Oh, there is. So that was just really simple ingredients for bread. I mean, honestly, pretty much all recipes for bread include very simple ingredients. I do like to use bread flour. I think that, I don't know, I just feel like the bread is a little bit fluffier or something. I don't know if that is the right term, but I just like it. I think it just holds up better. I also like to do it in my bread machine, and I always just do it for the dough cycle here, number 7, which is 1 hour and 30 minutes. And then I dump it out, shape it into whatever, if it's going to be bread or dinner rolls or hamburger buns or whatever, which today it's going to be hamburger buns for our barbecue. And I think the plan is going to be to have this for supper. I'm going to hop back over here to my meat. It's just about browned all the way through. It looks like it could use just another couple of minutes. So I'm going to start assembling the ingredients that I'm going to need for the barbecue portion of this. Oh yeah, okay, just stirring it up. That was just about all it took. So Worcestershire sauce always settles, and I know I've mentioned this to you guys before, but for those that are new, if you're not aware of that and you're kind of feeling like, boy, I'm not getting the full flavor out of my Worcestershire sauce, then be sure to shake it up until it's fully mixed. I have the rolls all shaped up here. Sometimes I'll cut these with a biscuit cutter, but you end up with little bits of scraps, and then in the end you end up with a couple, or at least one bun that just looks a little funny because it's all the scraps pushed together. Anyway, I just shaped it. It's faster for me anyway to just shape it with my hands. I didn't know that Warren was going to be in the kitchen here with me today, but he jumped in, found the Christmas M&Ms that I had stashed away.
I need some chocolate.
And he's making his famous chocolate chip cookies, but he'll leave out the chocolate chips, put the M&Ms on top. Barbecue is here. I'm just going to cover the rolls here because these need to, I'm going to have to let these raise for about, do you say let them raise or let them rise? Which direction?
I would say I'm going to let them rise.
I'm going to let them rise. So I'm going to let these rise for an hour and then bake them for about 10 to 15 minutes. I also brought out 2 pie crusts that I had in the freezer, and I want to make an apple pie, so I'm just letting these thaw. They are rock hard right now, so I'm just going to let those sit on the counter and thaw here for, well, until they're completely thawed, and I'm still thinking of what else I'm going to work on. So let me just encourage you to, if you're going to take meat off the bone, do it when the meat is still warm. Maria! Once it has cooled down, it is so hard. I mean, and I know that. It's not like I just learned that today, but I was in such a hurry the other day. The other day, I just had other things that I had to do, and I could not take the time to pick all the meat off the bones of all of these chicken leg quarters that I had put in my Instant Pot. So anyway, now it's taking me like 3 times as long to get it done. All right. I'm going to keep going on this, but I am going to turn the camera around so you guys can see the kids. They got this new ball, which is really fun.
Oh no!
You guys should try to throw it back and forth so you can actually...
Ready? It's gonna come back to me. Too low.
Okay, so I have all of the chicken cut off the bone or pulled off the bone, and I have really 2 things earmarked to do with this chicken. One is to do those chicken bundles or chicken roll-ups. I don't remember exactly what they were called, but it was from that video I did sometime this summer. I had picked up this cookbook from the library, and I guess I could just tell you what it's called. They call it chicken roll-ups. And so it's where you take chicken and cheese and you put it on a crescent roll. You roll that up, put it into a casserole dish, and then make a mixture of cream of chicken soup, chicken broth, milk, a little bit of flour, and then salt and pepper. And you mix that all up. You pour it over the top. Sprinkle a little bit more cheese over if you'd like. And then... We've got another respiratory thing going around through the house, so if you're hearing coughing, it's just kids in the background. It seems like there's always this little dry cough happening. Anyway, then you pop that in the oven. I can't remember if it has to be covered or not. What does it say? Dun, dun, dun. No, it just says to bake 375 for 25 minutes. So I made that this summer. The kids really, really loved it. And they were actually just asking for it again the other day. And I have all of the ingredients except for the crescent rolls. And I just don't feel like making homemade crescent rolls. I know, Alicia, if you're watching, I saw your video. I'm talking here to Alicia from Alicia's in the Kitchen. If you haven't ever watched her channel, go over and check her out. She has lots of really... just lots of recipes and some canning videos, things like that. Okay, but the other thing that I want to do here with this is I have this stuffing mix here. Look, it's been in my pantry for a little while and it's really starting to get kind of like basically like breadcrumbs. And I thought what I would do is just season this up with like stuffing, the sage, the marjoram, the thyme, that type of thing, salt, pepper, and then I would make a casserole. So I saw an inspiration recipe. It's in this cookbook here, St. James. I don't know. I feel like this was sent to me by a subscriber. And just forgive me if I have forgotten, because you guys are very, very generous and send all kinds of different things. And sometimes I just forget where exactly I got all of the things from. But there's a recipe in here. It's called chicken with stuffing. And it calls for to simmer chicken for 45 minutes, break it up. It says break up the chicken, so I'm assuming that means to actually take it off the bone and put it into a 9x13 pan, mix cream of chicken soup and milk, pour that over, and then mix stuffing, a large package of Pepperidge Farm stuffing mix, which I don't have, but I'm going to use maybe half of this. And I'm going to season it up, and it says to mix it with 1 cup of boiling water and 1 stick of butter melted, and then to bake that. So I'm going to get this one ready, and this is going to be for tomorrow night's supper. I just thought that would make a really, really great Sunday night supper. We have all kinds of plans for tomorrow, so it would be just really nice to be able to come home and just pop this into the oven, let it bake for an hour. It's going to smell so good. So anyway, that is what I'm going to work on next. So I have a little dollop of shortening here. I'm just going to grease my pan all the way up the edges. I have my garbage pulled out. I usually keep my garbage underneath the kitchen sink. I have it pulled out right now because I do like to keep it handy when I'm cooking, so I don't have to keep touching the knob and opening up the cabinet door. This pan is probably, well, it's gotta be 50 years old. It has to be 50 years old. It's pretty warped.
Guess who I met?
I have no idea who you met.
What's that?
I have no idea who you met.
I met another Warren.
What?
Yes.
How cool is that?
Yep. I told him, I says, that's a good name.
I mean, when does that happen? When a recipe calls for 1 large box of Pepperidge Farm stuffing, what would you say? Would you say that would be considered a large box? I have no idea.
Sort of.
They have like super tall pointy noses. Jesus is pointy.
Uh-huh.
No way, that's how pointy this is. This part is coming down. This is the see? That's part of the
Here, you could read that to Maria. It'll be kind of like Thanksgiving tomorrow, because we'll have this chicken and stuffing, and I have cranberry sauce, and we'll make some mashed potatoes when we get home. And
Sounds good to me.
yeah. There, that looks good, I think. And then what I'm going to do here is all the chicken scraps, since it was kind of tough to get all that chicken off the bone. I don't want this all to go to waste, so I'm going to fill this up with water, turn it on high actually. I put some salt, some pepper, a couple bay leaves in here, and I'm just going to make like chicken stock. I'll probably pick the bones once again and then make this into chicken noodle soup. Not this weekend. It probably won't happen till Monday. Hamburger buns are all done. The kids are going to watch Cat in the Hat Christmas right now. Here's some little jingle bells in the background. After Warren came back in, because we actually have a logging project. We actually have a possible logging project that's going to happen maybe this winter, and he had to meet with the loggers. So I finished up the last pan of cookies for him and took those off, and then he put them in the cookie jar. And then he was working on dishes. So look at this. I'm going to fill this up again though, because I know I have some dishes over there for making my pie. So I'm just going to get dishes done, and that's going to be it for today. I will show you when we have supper, you know, what it all looks like, the barbecue and that. I mean, it looks like barbecue on a bun. But I'll show that to you, and then we will come back tomorrow for more food. Oh, and I have things like baking, so when the pie comes out I'll show you that and things like that. But otherwise, I think that's going to be it for actual cooking today. Okay, apple pie just came out of the oven here. I can see that it is nicely done. It's starting to juice out of the crust a little bit. I can see like bubbles in there. Well, everything was really good. I was going to show a plate, but there was no plate to be shown because we ate it up too quick. and I had forgotten. So anyway, we just had some green beans with the rolls. I thought that these hamburger buns were really good. I really like the homemade hamburger buns. And we had the barbecue, and now we're gonna have pie.
Look at that.
Oh, yummy. That looks like it's
still
gonna
warm.
be good. A little bit warm. Do you want any Cool Whip? I've got a little Cool Whip. Okay, I'm back here. It is Sunday. And yes, if you hear the coughing in the background, everything really went downhill yesterday. And all kinds of sickness is breaking out again around the house. I've been spared. Warren's been spared. It's really, when I say around the house, it's really Joseph, Peter, Maria. Anyway, I'm hoping that it's just them and then it's over and nobody else gets it. All right, well, after church today, I ran in to get just a couple groceries. And since this video is about food prep, I guess I might as well just show you the quick grocery haul that I did today. Not a lot. I did get 6 gallons of milk. I'm happy to report that I actually packed them in the back of my car properly, and we have 6 gallons now. If you watch the last couple of videos, you'll know that 2 times in a row, a gallon of milk hit the floor. It was not a good situation. Okay, I picked up 3 pounds of butter. I was looking at the Quick Trip marquee hoping to find butter cheaper, but I didn't run in to check there. But butter is, I think this was $5 a pound at Aldi today. Crazy, but I needed it. Some bananas, 3 tubes of crescent rolls. So you know that one of the things I want to make with some of that chicken is those chicken bundles or chicken roll-ups. Why can I not remember what they're called? Anyway, I wanted to pick that up, pick these up for that. And then also I picked up one more tube of crescent rolls because I have a little bit of cherry pie filling left, and I thought I could roll the cherry pie filling up in here, bake them up. I probably won't do the cream cheese like I did in, I just showed that in a video. It must have been my last Meals of the Week video. But what I was thinking of doing is just putting like a little glaze over the top. So like just some little mini Danishes or something. Okay, some cereal because with everybody being sick here, I'm kind of feeling like tonight is going to be a cereal supper because sometimes that's just soothing. And then I did pick up, I think this is like Sprite. Peter's having one. Is it like Sprite? It's not like Mountain Dew, is it? It's like Sprite?
It's more like 7-Up.
More like 7-Up. Okay, so it's kind of like a 7-Up Sprite type of a soda. I just thought with them not feeling well, because it's everything. It's like the coughing and it's throwing up and it's like all the things. So I thought this with sometimes just like crackers and that. Oh, everybody in the background. And then I saw this. This was just a new thing I'd never seen before. It was a limited edition winter spiced cranberry. And I just thought that sounded kind of nice. Did you see that one? It's a Sprite. And then some pears because that's one of Joe's absolute favorite fruits and he's not feeling well and I thought he might like that. And then I am always searching out for the stickers. I've talked about this before. And someone left a comment recently saying that they've shopped at Aldi like a variety of days and times and they've never ever seen a sticker like this on any of their foods there. I did ask the cashier today if they have a particular time of day that they do this, and she said not a particular time and really not a particular day. They're just doing it every day. She said every day we are scanning the refrigerated and the I guess the refrigerated items for, you know, the dates. So today is the 4th. And the date for this, the sell-by, is the 5th. So I will pop those into the freezer. Same thing with these New York strip steaks. I got 2 steaks for $8. And the chicken, yeah, like just about $7 for the chicken. She did, however, tell me that if they are closed on a day like Christmas or Thanksgiving or New Year's Day or something like that, that the next day is a great day to come in and find 50% off meats and as well as like breads and donuts and things like that. She said that's always a high sticker day. All right, somehow we have in our refrigerator 2 cartons, both half used up, of French onion dip. And so I bought a couple bags of potato chips so that we could use up that French onion dip. And Did you hear that disgust in the background? That was Warren. He does not like French onion dip. I think I forgot to mention I also picked up some of the granola cereal. So that's everything. I am going to get back to... I am going to get back to food prep here a little bit today. Warren made some chicken noodle soup for the kids while I was gone. And I had the chicken stock. You know, I'm cooking down the bones here. I had this going all overnight on low. I had it on high for about 3 hours or 4 hours yesterday. Then I turned it to low and I let it go all overnight. And this morning, I think, what did you turn this off? About 8 o'clock or 8:15, I think he turned it off. And now I'm just letting it just cool enough because I still want to pick through those bones again and check for any meat. And then I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with that yet. If I'm going to can up the stock or if I'm just going to put it in the fridge and make some chicken noodle soup, like homemade chicken noodle soup with carrots and celery, that type. We'll see. It's the next day now, and yesterday was just like a complete bust in the kitchen because, excuse me, the 3 youngest kids were sick, the kind of sick where they're just laying on the couch all day long, pretty much not even saying a word, not even moving, that kind of sick. Peter's feeling better today. He actually ate some lunch. Excuse me, I hope that this doesn't mean I'm getting sick now. So anyway, I'm finally getting into the kitchen here this afternoon. This video is kind of supposed to be all about food. So what happened yesterday is that I ended up just putting the chicken stock, I put that into the refrigerator. I pulled it out a few hours ago and I have it on warm here just to warm it a little bit, because if I'm going to work through kind of like picking those bones again, I want it to be warm, because cold meat just does not pull off the bones the way I want it to. So I am going to work on that here, but I would like to get some harvest loaf going into the oven first. So the harvest loaf recipe is in my first cookbook, and a couple things to note about this recipe is that I always double it, because that way I can use the whole can of pumpkin. Also, you really want to make this bread ahead. This is not the kind that you want to bake and then an hour later slice, because it's just not going to have set up properly and you'll be disappointed. So it really needs to set overnight and just cool all the way, even chill if you like kind of a chilled, dense but moist bread. And the other thing I'd like to say is don't try to substitute the butter. You know, I even wrote it on here, no substitutions. Because here's what happened. So I made this bread for our mail carrier one time and I put it in the mailbox, and I happened to see her someplace later, and she had asked for the recipe. So then I put the recipe in the mailbox for her, and she made the bread, and I saw her, you know, sometime later, and she's like, "You're gonna have to make that bread for me again," because she said, it just wasn't right. And she's like, "I don't know how you made it so good." And I was like, "Well, what did you do?" And she's like, "Well, I was trying to save calories, so I substituted vegetable oil in for the butter, and then instead of using regular eggs, she wanted to use like egg beaters, which, if I'm not mistaken, those are kind of like a cholesterol-free egg. And then there was something else that she did. Oh, I think she said she used whole wheat flour instead of the regular white flour." I'm like, well, of course it's going to taste different. Not necessarily that it's going to taste bad, but it is going to taste different. So when you are making substitutions in baked goods, just be sure that you understand it's going to have a different texture most likely, as well as a different flavor. Okay, so in my KitchenAid right now, I have 1 cup of butter, and I was just kind of creaming that a little bit here. I'm going to give it just another minute to cream. I'm adding in 2 cups, because remember, I'm doubling this recipe. 2 cups of white sugar. So next I'm going to scrape the sides of my bowl. And I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but I have out spatulas now. They are a very heavy-duty, large-handled spatula. It's a very firm. It isn't the kind of spatula that you would use to, oh, what would I say? Like, let me show you one. I have this spatula, and I like this one for lots of different things, but see how flexible it is? This is a much stiffer. It does not bend except for the very, very tip. It's really good for like when you want to fold in fruit into something. It's a good spatula for folding in, I feel like. So anyway, I do have these over at acountrylife.com. 4 eggs are next. I'm going to scrape this once again, give it one more mix, and then I like to use my, I can't talk and cook at the same time here. And I'm going to use my sifter here and get all of the double ingredients of like the flour, the baking soda, cinnamon, salt, nutmeg, ginger, and ground cloves. I'm going to put all of that in here, and then I'll put half in here, mix it up, add in the pumpkin, the whole can of pumpkin, mix that in, then add the second half of the flour mixture. Then I'll stir in the chocolate chips, stir in the nuts. All right, I just talked to you guys about not making any substitutions, but I'm searching and somehow I ended up out of nutmeg. So I need still nutmeg, ginger, and cloves in here. And I have some pumpkin pie spice, and I'm looking at it. It does have cinnamon in it, but it does have ginger, nutmeg, and allspice. So I think what I'm going to do is just use some of this. Allspice is kind of cinnamon, or kind of similar to the seasoning of cloves, but I am just going to sprinkle in a little cloves.
What are you making?
I'm making harvest loaf. I like to slightly undermix because I know I'm still going to be mixing it when I put in the chocolate chips as well as the chopped walnuts. So I like to just undermix it so I don't end up overmixing it in the end. I just took the bread out of the oven here. It was at 350 for pretty much 50 minutes. Even for these little loaves, it takes a long time because this is a very substantial. I just brought in the chicken and stuffing casserole. I put this together on Saturday and I've had it in the refrigerator. And now I'm going to put this in for 1 hour. I wanted to take this out a half an hour ago and I just forgot. So anyway, it's going in to the oven very, very cold. So I feel like it's going to take a little bit more than an hour. So I may at the end, if the top starts to get too brown, if the stuffing starts to get too brown, I may end up just putting the foil back over it if it isn't quite done. But you know, the top is browning too fast. So we almost bit into supper here without giving a quick little look at it. With everybody still pretty sick, I just kind of forget. I forget, honestly, to pick up the camera and do this. So anyway, this is the chicken and stuffing casserole, and then we just did instant mashed potatoes and canned corn. So we haven't taken a bite yet, hoping it's good. I picked the bones again, and this is how much chicken I got. It's not a lot. It's probably about 3/4 of a cup. And then I strained the stock through the cheesecloth, and this is what I ended up with here. It looks like it's about a gallon, probably a little over a gallon of chicken stock, and this is like a bone broth with all of kind of those good healing properties and all of the collagen from the bones and everything. The bones were so brittle when I was picking the chicken. I had to be really careful, but this is going to make really, really good soup. So I am going to chill this down now, and if any of the fat that's in here does come to the top, I will skim off that fat. It may just kind of stay suspended within. It's going to be very gelatinous tomorrow, and that's because of all the collagen from the bones. So it might not separate. It's always a little different. Actually, I'm probably going to make soup on Wednesday because tomorrow we'll have the leftovers of the chicken and stuffing bake, which was delicious. I would make that again, hands down. The only thing that would have made it better is if we had cranberry sauce, but we actually had used up, I had 6 jars of cranberry sauce before Thanksgiving, and it's gone. All of it's gone. So it's going to be time to make more cranberry sauce. That's the only thing that would have made that meal better. But Warren did serve up a glass of straight cranberry juice at the end, and that kind of set it off. That was good. Anyway, we'll probably do that for lunch tomorrow, the leftovers of that. And then I was wanting to make those chicken bundles, those chicken roll-ups that I've been talking to you about, but I think since I have this stock, I'll just do chicken noodle soup and maybe save those chicken bundles for another time. And oh, we also have a potluck to go to tomorrow night. I don't know if that's going to happen. We thought Peter was feeling better. He actually wanted to eat a little bit of supper, and then supper didn't stay down. So, and Joe seems to be like a tiny bit better. So actually, just even saying all this out loud, I feel like the potluck is going to be out for tomorrow night, but I guess anything could happen. So we'll see how that goes. But I'm going to just keep this, I'm going to keep this video rolling with kind of the food that happens over the next couple of days.